So today we're going to use our chair. Make sure you've got something like something non-slip underneath your feet. Particularly if you're in your socks, you don't have to do this in your socks, by the way. You can keep your shoes on, or if you have slippers, just make sure there's a grip on them. I would suggest placing the chair against the wall as well, because we're going to do some standing stuff where we might put one leg up on the chair to get a couple of stretches in that way. So make sure that you have, like, that you're not going to end up doing the splits, because that's not part. We'll be doing that towards the end of the week, this week. It's not part of today's practice. As always, stay within your comfort zone. If at any stage you are not comfortable with what we're doing, just pull back from it. Don't want you to feel any pain. It's important that you are feeling comfortable when you do this, particularly if you have any issues like hips, shoulders, anything like that. Okay, so I'm going to move back, take my glasses off. Okay. So we do a little warm up to begin with, and to get our full range of movement into our spine. So if you come and you sit maybe a little bit towards the front of your chair or towards the middle of your chair. If you're using the sofa, that'll work too. Let your hands come and rest onto the lap or the knees. And we'll center ourselves to begin with. So if you like, your eyes can be open or closed. Feet are flat to the floor. If you feel like your feet are dangling a little bit, just put a cushion or a couple of books underneath your feet as well. So get into a comfortable seated position. Perhaps bring the shoulders up towards the ears and then let them release down. Allow yourself to be in this space now, where you are right now. And bring the focus, the attention down to the feet, and begin to sense, feel, or imagine what's happening in or around the feet. So perhaps it's noticing the shoes or your slippers, the floor, points of contact, temperature. And then let your awareness come to your hands, where your hands are resting. Notice the weight of the hands, where they rest. Any other sensations? Backs of the hands, palms of the hands, the fingers, fingertips. And then to your steady, comfortable seat, noticing the weight of the body into your chair, the support that is there underneath you. And then letting the attention move to watching the body breathe itself. So this could be maybe that movement in the chest or the belly or both. If you find that difficult to connect with, you could place a hand on the upper chest or onto the belly, if that helps you connect a little bit better. Watching the body breathe itself. And if you have a sankalpa, a positive intention or affirmation, something you say to yourself in the present tense, it can even just be a word. Repeat it mentally 3 times. And when you feel ready, begin to give the toes a little wiggle, give the fingers a little wiggle. Maybe bring the shoulders up and back and down. We'll do this 2 more times. Up and back and down and up and back and down. Okay, so to work a little bit of range of movement into the spine, to warm up into our spine, make our spines happy. As we breathe in, we're going to lift the chest, lift the head up. And then as you're breathing out, rounding the back, letting the head come down. I'll show you from the side. As you're breathing in, lifting up. As you're breathing out, rounding down. So you may notice that the pelvis moves a little bit as we do this. It shifts a little bit back and forth as we continue to do this, moving with your breath. Shoulders away from the ears as you lift up, rounding as you come down. Let's do one more here. And as you breathe in the next time, just coming back to center. So coming back to center. I'm going to turn around so you can see. So a little side stretch. I'm going to let one hand rest onto the chair. You can either let the fingertips come to the shoulders and lift the elbow, or bring the arm up all the way. Yogi's choice. But whichever one you're doing, we're coming over to the side. Make sure you're steady on the chair. You don't want to fall off the chair. So reach into the fingertips. And invite that movement, invite that expansion into the side that's getting a little bit of an opening. But notice as well on the other side, as you're breathing in and out, what the movement is like there. There may be a little bit of compression. And then as you breathe in, come all the way up, and then exhale, let that hand come down. Again, on this side, either fingertips to shoulders and lift the elbow up and over, or bring the arm all the way up. This hand is going to rest on the chair and come over to the side. Reach into those fingertips. Keep the ear in line with the arm. Is this side different to the other? Sometimes we're not asymmetrical anyway, so or symmetrical. I get mixed up now which is which. There may be a difference, and that's okay. One more breath in and out here. Lovely, and then as you breathe in, come back and exhale, let the hand come down. Okay, so we've let the spine come into a back bend. We've done a little forward, we've done side to side, and the spine likes to do a twist as well. So we're going to place one hand on the outside of the leg, bring the other behind. You can either grab the chair or leave it at the outside of the leg. Draw your belly button back gently towards the spine, and as you breathe out the next time, slowly turn the chest. Just slow, it's not a very strong twist. Make sure the shoulders are away from the ears and that you're not gripping. No gripping into the jaw, into the shoulders, or anywhere else, in fact. Take a breath in here. And as you breathe out, come back to center. And then we'll inhale here. And as you breathe out, just moving to the other side. So one hand on the outside of the leg, the other behind, or to the outside of the leg. Shoulders away from the ears, relaxing into the jaw. Just check that you're not frowning. Sometimes when we're doing something, when we're focused and concentrating, we might frown. So make sure you're not frowning. And then as you breathe out, slowly come back to center. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to stand and I'm going to move my chair just so that you can see it from this angle. So I'm hoping that you have your chair at the wall. If you need to move or do anything so that you can still see what I'm doing, please do that. Take this opportunity to do that. I'm going to take the cushion up here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take one foot up onto the chair. Now it can either be flat if you feel more comfortable with it coming, if you've got shoes on, if you feel more comfortable at the arch. But just make sure that you feel steady enough, okay? And that we still maybe have a little bit of a stack of the hip of the other leg, hip, knee and ankle. Okay, So for this, we're building a little bit of strength into the standing leg and then even into the bum muscles. So we're going to breathe in, bring the arms up. Breathe out, let them come behind. We're just going to do this 3 times. So if you start to feel anything into that standing leg, just know that you can come out of this. And then down. And then one more, breathing in, up. And then down. Okay, now we're going to come forward a little bit. So you can either come to here at the seat of the chair or up at the top of your chair. So either or. Okay, and then let the knee come forward a little bit. So it's like you sink forward a little bit. Be mindful of that standing leg. Okay, now you've got a choice here. Actually, no, we'll keep the hands where they are. Okay, so lifting the head up out of the shoulders, draw the belly button back towards the spine. We're trying to keep the back as straight as possible, or in its natural curves. And then we're going to move back ever so slightly, and then you're going to take that leg off the chair. So again, if you need to give yourself a little bit of balance, do that. Perfect. Now, bring the hands down to the chair. Watch this. If you have high blood pressure, don't let the head come any lower than the heart. I'm stepping back a little bit. You may need to do this too. And then I'm coming into a downward dog. So there's a little bit of space. There's about that much space in between my legs. Draw the belly button back, little bend into the knees. Let the head come in between the hands. Reach into the fingertips. Couple of breaths here in your downward dog. Maybe even pressing down into those 3 points on each foot, the big toe joint, little toe joint, and center of the heel. Okay, and then we're going to walk forward just a couple of steps. I found I had to do that as I bring myself back up, and we're going to place the other foot onto the chair. Okay, so get yourself steady. If balance is a little bit off, either hold the ball or you can let your foot come out a little bit to the side if you have room on the chair. So we're going to breathe in and come up with the arms. Breathe out, bring the arms behind. Breathing in, lift. Breathing out, down. So this is a really good way if you're wanting to build up strength, muscle tone into the legs. One more. Okay, and we're either going to hold the chair at the bottom, like at the seat, or come up a little bit higher, so either or, and then let the hips sink forward a little bit. Lift the chest, draw the belly button back towards the spine. Shoulders away from the ears, you're looking forward, and a couple of breaths here. And then slowly, gently moving back from here. If you need to use the wall or the chair for balance, take the leg down. Hands either side of the chair, of the seat. And then we're going to walk the feet back ever so slightly so that we can come down into our downward dog again. Little bend into the knees, draw the belly button back towards the spine. Remember, staying within your comfort zone, working with what works well for you. One more breath in and out here. And then we're going to come back up, walk a little bit towards the chair. Again, just not too much because we're going to bring up the leg again. Bend the knees as you come all the way up to stand. Perfect. So this one incorporates a little bit of a twist. It doesn't matter which leg because we're going to do it on both sides. So again, we're going to bring one leg up. And like what we did earlier, we're going to take one hand to the outside of that leg. And we're pressing down into that standing foot. Perfect. And then if you like, bring your hand, the opposite hand. So the hand that's not on the leg, on the outside of the leg. You're going to bring that up. And then, depending on balance, see how it is if you look at that thumb, or pick a point of focus. And then we're going to come into that twist. So we're going to bring that arm behind, and we're kind of twisting the chest a little. You can always keep your head forward if you choose, if you're watching balance. So this can be a little stronger into that standing leg. Nearly there. And then slowly, gently coming back. And we're going to come forward, and then actually it's better, it's easier if I come up and I take my foot off. Okay, so again, another downward dog. So we're going to walk back ever so slightly. Couple of breaths here. If you're wanting to add a little bit more strength to this, you could come into a plank. So a plank is where you lean forward. This is why I need you to make sure that you have the chair against the wall so you're not going to go sliding. So in the plank, the heels come up a little bit, but you're still pressing back into the heels. And the shoulders are over the wrists. Be mindful of wrists in this one. And then come back into your downward dog. So that is an option if you want to do it. Okay, and then we're going to walk forward a little, just a little bit. I'm going to bring my other foot up to the chair. Opposite hand comes across, and then the other hand comes across. Now I've got the wall beside me, so I'm going to keep my arm like this. All right, so see how you go here as you begin to slowly turn the upper body in that twist. And if you need a point of focus, something that's going to keep your attention staying with that. Another couple of breaths here. Perfect. And then gently come back to center. And we're going to take that foot down. We're going to place the hands on the seat. Walk back a little bit towards the back of the mat. Come into your downward dog. And if you do want to take a plank, the next time that you're breathing out, draw your belly button back towards the spine. Let the shoulders come over the wrists. Press back into the heel. Take a breath or two here. Or stay in your downward dog. I'm moving back to my downward dog. And then slowly, gently again, we're going to walk towards the chair. Have a bend in the knees and come all the way up. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to turn my chair this way so that I can. I'm going to come and sit back down on the chair. So if you did get to do a few little planks there, a little bit of wrist work, just close the hands and then open. This is always nice to do for our hands anyway. Close the hands and open and close and open, close and open. And we could do a few little twirly twirls. Perfect, give them a little shake out. Bring the shoulders up and back and down, and then up and back and down, and then up and back and down. So that's a nice little sequence if you think for getting work into the spine and then into the legs. We're building up a little bit of strength into the legs as well, and all using the chair, which is always good. So I'm going to move closer to the screen. Stay where you are, seated comfortably in your chair. If you even want to sit back a little bit, you can. And we'll finish with a little poem and a little meditation. So your eyes can be open or closed for this. The poem is by Robert Frost. So let yourself come to that position of ease, seated ease. Feet grounded to the floor, to the earth. Hands resting softly. Shoulders away from the ears. Eyes can be open or closed. And if you like, taking 3 breaths, 3 long, deep breaths, breathing in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth, gently. I am breathing in, I am breathing out. And let the breath come back to an everyday rhythm now, to its natural rhythm. Perhaps again watching for that rise and fall or any movement that you may notice. The sun was warm, but the wind was chill. You know how it is with an April day. When the sun is out and the wind is still, you're 1 month on in the middle of May. But if you so much as dare to speak, a cloud come over the sunlit arch, and the wind comes off a frozen peak, and you're 2 months back in the middle of March. So listening now to the sounds that you can hear around you. Being aware of the weight of the body being supported in your seat. And if you like this morning, sending out a collective intention. May all be well, may all be happy, may all be free from suffering. May all be well, may all be happy, may all be free from suffering. We close our practice this morning, if you like, palms of the hands together or resting over the heart center. And we give gratitude and thanks to the practice that is yoga, to the earth, to each other and to ourselves. And I thank you all for joining in this morning as well. Namaste. I see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock as well. Thanks, everyone.